Breaking.
Well, we have some breaking news here. Like, share, subscribe.
When the ball's in his hands, anything is possible. It's capable of a touchdown.
The stuff that he does, it can't be taught. It's in his blood.
All-pro receiver, basically, to go along with it.
Easily the best back.
Christian McCaffrey, a 28-year-old veteran NFL running back, born in 1996, is in his 9th season with the San Francisco 49ers. He is listed as 5'11", 209 pounds. He is coming back from tendonitis in both legs, which affects his calf and Achilles muscle. When he returned earlier this season, he suffered a PCL injury, which affects his knee, and it's when the knee slides slightly out of place. McCaffrey has been known to have problems throughout his NFL career. He has been known to be a all-purpose back. He doesn't get a whole lot of rushing yards, a whole lot of rushing attempts per se, but he gets a whole lot of receiving yards to add to it. So his total catches for the game could easily be 20 or more or something like that some games, or at least 15 a lot of the times. And he's too small to be a workhorse back, I believe. He's around 200 pounds, maybe a little more. And I think that might be, I always knew that would be a problem for his career. I always thought it would be. Running backs 200 pounds and down, that's kind of small for the NFL to keep hitting that ground and keep taking a pounding from those bigger players. I always thought that he would have a problem staying healthy throughout his career. I think he took advantage of some great scheming and ran very hard through some open holes, and a lot of his runs went down the sideline. And if you look at a lot of his runs, there were not safeties over the top. And yeah, I just think he was a bit overrated. He took advantage of some great screen plays and open field runs and just turned them into track meets. If you watch a lot of his highlights, he had great blocking on the plays. You never really see him breaking one-on-one tackles and getting a lot of yards after contact, as you can see in these clips. And he had decent speed, so yeah, he can outrun some people, but he got ran down on the back end a lot. Didn't have great speed. I would say out of all the running backs in history, I would probably give him a grade C+ or probably a B- or something like that. He wasn't like an A+, like Adrian Peterson, CJ2K type of running back. Like some of the greatest ever. Like I would consider like Barry Sanders. I would consider like Emmitt Smith, like even though he's the leading rusher of all time, I would consider him like a B+ player, bro. But Emmitt Smith had amazing vision and amazing feet. I wouldn't consider Christian McCaffrey that type of running back and that tier of running back. That's just my opinion. I would consider him in the Darren Sproles type of lane, the Darren Sproles category. You know what I mean? Something like that. Like Danny and Tomlinson would be amongst the all-time greats. You know what I mean? Way up there. But they were trying to make him out to be that. They were trying to build him up to be that. And I think that's what ultimately hurt him, getting all them catches, trying to be the face of the NFL. I think he was more like a Wes Welker, like a more well put together Wes Welker, and who ran extremely, extremely hard. And you're going to break tackles when you run hard. But he didn't have too many yards after contact. And you can see that in a lot of his highlights and his clips. Like a lot of the times, the first guy in the pile would tackle him. I felt like he was given way more opportunity than the average players who were his tier of running back. Like I feel like Dalvin Cook was a much better running back than him. I feel like Jamar Gibbs is a much, much better running back than him. And a lot of some other running backs I feel like who are much better. When I say that, to be a great running back, you have to have some kind of amazing gift or some kind of superpower or some kind of speed, amazing vision, something. You got to have something amazing. I feel like every category was just average for Christian McCaffrey. His coaches were good coordinators and made great schemes for him. I think he was a victim of great scheming, if that's a victim might be a strong word, but he benefited from great scheming. I think many players could have fit in that role easily in the NFL. In the last 3 seasons, he has 481 rushing attempts and 134 receptions, which probably ranks him behind only a few running backs like Saquon Barkley and Derrick Henry, and maybe a couple others. And yeah, I just think he was a bit overrated. He took advantage of some great screen plays and open field runs and just turned them into track meets. If you watch a lot of his highlights, he had great blocking on the plays. You never really see him breaking one-on-one tackles and getting a lot of yards after contact. 65 touches this year in 2024 because of injury. Now he's back out for the season. I think it might be, he might come back and still be a little productive, but he's never going to be the same if you ask me, because he's 28 coming up on 30. 30 is usually when running backs decline. I really can't see him going too much longer than this unless he becomes like some kind of like slot receiver or mainly like catching out the backfield. But then it might be hard. It might be kind of hard to make people miss after the injuries that he's built up. And he relies so much on his quickness and agility, and that would be hurt severely. And I think there might be younger running backs who can, because running backs come a dime a dozen. Unless he take a huge pay cut or something, I don't know. Maybe his career might be over. Yeah, and like I said, I think we might have seen the end of Christian McCaffrey, if not the great decline of him. I didn't know he had this PCL injury. I just found out about this. I thought he was still dealing with the same injury. So when I seen this injury, I was like, I feel like he was going downhill. And he had, like I said, he already had some injuries from earlier in his career with the Carolina Panthers. He had a few slow years, or who knows, maybe they were just hiding him from some horrendous teams, trying to protect him so he wouldn't further hurt himself. You know what I mean? So franchises might not want players playing for no reason, so they might fake an injury so they can finish the season out and tank for better players. So I think he could have been dealing with something like that. But let me know if you think that Christian McCaffrey is the best running back in the NFL or was ever the best running back in his era. Or let me know if you think his career is still on and going and he can make a comeback from these injuries. I don't know if he can. I'm not saying his career is over, but it looks bad to me, especially arriving on 30.
Breaking.
Well, we have some breaking news here. Like, share, subscribe.